The point of no return. The great solar flares run deep in the mind just now, and they really stir things up, myself included. And since I can't sleep, it has me thinking back to my very first Dharma teacher, Andrew Gunn McIver, and his main teaching. Andrew was born in Scotland, and he was a traveling initiator for a Rosicrucian order. I met him in the mid-1960s. He was the first human outside of my family that seemed to care for me more than I knew how to care for myself at the time. He tamed me, and I became his student. When he died in 1969, it was I who saw to his burial and even designed his tombstone, which was the symbol of the sun, a circle with a dot in the middle. I received my first transmission from him, and I'm going to share something here of what he taught me. But I have to warn you that this is very esoteric and can appear abstract. So please feel free to pass this blog by. It's really not for everyone. The one thing that my first Dharma teacher, Andrew, was perfectly fascinated by was palindromes. These are words or phrases that read the same forward as backward. Examples of palindromes are words like desserts, which reads backward stressed, or snap, which reads pans, or live, which reads backward evil, or stop, which reads pots. And then whole phrases like the famous phrase attributed to Bonaparte, able was I ere I saw Elba, or do geese see God? So what was his point? His point was that life reads the same forward as backward. The fact is that this very simple statement is terrifyingly true, although it can take decades to sink in. What can I say? I could repeat it, underline or underscore this, and perhaps emphasize it in 10 other ways, but it still might not register yet. However, it's the esoteric truth par excellence. Like the snake shedding its skin, or the glove turning inside out when it comes off, Andrew believed that life is a palindrome. In other words, it's reversible. And here's the main point, that the pivot or turning point in this reversal is around 30 years of age, at that very first Saturn return. I've written many articles about the return of Saturn to its natal place in the zodiac at that age, because this is one of the great climactic years in life, and it marks a rite of passage that sooner or later cannot be ignored. Now, while this may appear as just a clever piece of writing on my part, you will be humbled to find, as I did, that this is a profound truth from which there are no variations. Even more incredible, the concept is not even linear, but rather spherical, like the sun. It was no accident that the title of the first book I ever wrote back in 1975 was called, quote, "The Sun is Shining!" End quote. So feel free to note my remarks and to move on. for now, but I promise you that it will bookmark itself in your mind. And if you consider the mysteries of life much at all, you will return to this concept in the future. And why? Because like the bird who flies from the mast of a ship far out at sea, you have nowhere else to go. The truth of life is no beggar. It does not need me or you to help make the ends meet. The ends already meet. As my teacher pointed out to me, life is a palindrome, and the pivot, the balance or turning point is around 30 years of age. A rite of passage is something we pass through. It has a before and after. And after, we're not the same as we were before. We have passed. There is a turning point in life for each of us. Words of prose fail me, but this poem I wrote many years ago says it pretty clearly, and I'll try to read it for you. The title is The Point of No Return, and it goes like this. The point of no return is that when you have reached the point of no return, from which there is no return, the point is to turn and return. That is the turning point. Every life has a turning point, whether it's in the echo of age or in the very midst of life's prime. As we reach our point of no return, we pause, then we turn. And in turning, we begin to reflect. In our reflection and rising into view, perhaps for the very first time, the sun. Where before it was we who were seen and others seeing, now we are the mirror in which they see themselves, and we can see ourselves in them. What we once saw shining before us as youths, that which we gladly embraced in our prime, and what we now see etched in the mirror of reflection, is our eternal self, the sun, ever burning in the darkness of our life. That's it. I understand this. What I find harder to understand, yet still believe, is we didn't know it then. We don't know it now. We never knew it. In truth, it never was. It never was. It never will be. It is not now, and still it is. It still is this most brilliant illusion shining in the mirror of the mind.